Hey everybody, new video for me. I'm making this video in July, so it will probably come out in August. Apparently right now, everybody in Europe and America, no wait, only Europe I think, doesn't matter, is dying of heat. Meanwhile, I'm over here at like 20 degrees Celsius and I'm freezing in my sweater. So, cool. This video, I'm talking about an issue I've seen in the online book community. This book community is on many platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, and obviously Goodreads. The people in this community are from all over the world and from lots of different backgrounds. However, there are still certain trends in the book community that most people are part of. For example, the author Colleen Hoover has been read and liked by almost all romance book fans. For the fantasy fans, Sarah J. Maas's books are almost a must-read. And basically that is kind of the thing I want to talk about this video. Readers and smut. So for some reason, readers at the moment are obsessed with sex in their books. This is mostly the fantasy, adventure and romance types, but since most book lovers belong in those categories, the trope is still everywhere. These people, usually teenagers, will read a book solely for the porn. And they post about it. A lot. Something that I thought was really interesting when looking into this is how open readers are about it. They don't really hide anything, no matter how raunchy it would look to outsiders.
Hey, you know what? I don't care. I'm not ashamed of my book. There's nothing wrong with a woman enjoying a little erotica. It's just a healthy expression of female sexuality, which, by the way, is something that you will never understand.
You got porn.
Is there alcohol in this?
Oh, honey, no. What kind of mother do you think I am? Why do you want a little bit? Because if you're gonna drink, I'd rather you do it in the house.
You're done. You're done.
The smut lovers also freely admit the negative consequences of reading so much smut, but we'll get to that later. First, let's see what types of posts you'll generally see about smut. I've chosen mostly TikTok because the book community there is very large, and also because it's just a fun way to show you examples. The first type is simply people talking about their spicy recommendations. Then we have the videos where people describe their favorite tropes and types of sex, which I won't share with you because there's the videos about fooling your parents.
So everybody put your hands in the air. It's an all-night party that we're getting into. You think it's all over, then the joke is on you.
Sleeping on the G's is a beanbag. Got me going jeans cause I'm cool right. For the spaceship, now I'm a space cadet. Big white mess.
Pocket swollen. You gotta show me the shit. Better tell you how I'm doing this shit. I got the devil on my phone. He told me keep doing this shit. Yeah, the devil told me.
Drive these crazy. I do it on the daily.
There's the videos where the reader straight up admits that the men they fall for are evil and disgusting.
So the question is, how nasty do you like them?
Nasty, freaky as she classy. When they do that,
Let me talk to her. They do. Make a 50.
Man, you
like this brings the movement down. Everyone's a feminist until there is a spider around. Fight.
I think every outfit looks better with the jacket off your shoulders. I think you look like a...
I know some of these use the description morally grey, which sounds, well, I mean, okay, they're not that bad, but something you gotta understand about the book community is that when people say morally grey, they mean absolutely terrible people, but they're nice to the protagonist. That's basically it. They're really, really, really bad people. They will murder people, but they're nice to the protagonist. So obviously they're good. They're on the good side, and therefore any bad things they do are considered morally grey instead of just bad. This is an interesting trend in general, and although I won't say too much about it in this video, it is noticeable that the majority of book readers dislike good characters. The funny thing is, while everybody does love reading about sex, the moment a woman character in their book gets pregnant, they absolutely hate it.
Jail. Right away. You're driving too fast? Jail. Slow? Jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses? You right to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not, jail. You overcook chicken, also jail.
No! 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 No!
Making up a song about Coraline. She's a peach, she's a doll, she's a pal of mine.
I know you think you're helping when you do this, but please stop doing this.
So gratification without taking responsibility for your actions is still in, I guess. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's just a small side group, but it's not. Seriously, I challenge any of you to go on YouTube and find a book talk compilation without any mention of smut. It's literally impossible. I haven't found any. The bad content is everywhere. Any book group that is not strictly Christian, and even some that are, has numerous readers excitedly discussing books that have explicit content. This is not restricted to an older age range. Children as young as 13 are reading and discussing these books, and it's very hard to get around them. For example, if you go to the Goodreads page for Throne of Glass, which is the first book in a pornographic fantasy series by Sarah J. Maas, which is why I mentioned her in the introduction, and written for young people, the book is featured in 1,563 lists. There are 427 discussions about the book going, and 5,442 discussions mention the book. This means that if a young teenager joins pretty much any teen reading group, he or she will almost certainly be confronted with this book, and many like it, various times. For some reason, discussions about a specific book actually never mention the smut. People talk about smut in general, but when it comes to singular books, you usually don't find out about the content until you try to read the book for yourself. Up to now, most research about porn and its effects on people has focused on watching it, so I wasn't able to find anything about reading erotica. That doesn't mean I don't think it has some serious consequences, though. Most of these are, of course, put into a joking format, and I don't think they're meant to be taken very seriously. That doesn't mean, however, that the issues brought up aren't real or serious. But just remember, for the things I'm about to say, what I'm describing here is a bad case scenario. These things might not happen to everybody, and everyone's experiences are different. So, like, if you're a smut reader and don't experience any of this, I'm not saying everyone does. I'm just saying these problems I'm about to describe are very common from what I've seen. So the first problem is addiction.
I'm gangster. You know what they call me in the streets? You know what the homies call me in the streets, B? They call me pendejo. Pendejo. I don't know what that means, but that sounds tough.
Now, once again, I don't know of any studies done on the effects of reading erotica on the brain. However, it seems from what the TikTokers themselves are saying that reading smut can be addicting. And that would make sense. After all, even more is possible on paper than on screen, and for less money. And reading, as I can attest, is a very immersive experience for book lovers. You're not just staring at words on a paper, you're imagining a world that is partly made by the author and is partly made up of your own imagination. The emotions characters feel can be transferred to yourself if you are reading intently enough. So if people read erotica, they're not just reading about other people's gratification, they're being gratified themselves. The second problem is not being able to function in real life and being depressed due to ridiculously high standards.
I don't want to finish this book. I don't. I want to live here. I want to live in here. I don't want to live here.
Oh, take me back to the night we met.
Once again, as a book reader, I can tell you the experience can sometimes be really sad. You'll really live in a book, imagining yourself in it, having fun, and then it ends, and you realize, I will never live there. This right here, my room, my house, my city, this is my life. And I will never have sword fighting adventures or become a princess or marry a prince or whatever, you know, all that stuff. Now, usually this feeling wears off after a few days. After all, you may not live in a fantasy land, but instead of moping about, you can make the real world as exciting as you can, which is something that I try to do. If you don't do that, however, you can get really sad for a long time and feel terrible about living here, just feeling like there's nothing here, it's so boring, I'll never have a happy life. Those thoughts, those are very easy to get if you don't make sure that you start realizing that your own life can be exciting if you put the work into it. For readers who like erotica, there's a much wider array of emotions at play. Like I said, reading erotica makes you feel very aroused, if you choose to let it affect you. So once you finish the book, the hangover is going to be huge, which of course also adds the addiction effect. The third problem is tied into this, and it's just plain and simple. Smut readers have a hard time being normal in day-to-day life, because not only are they seeing innuendos and possibilities everywhere, their image of men has also been affected greatly by books full of muscular mafioso and growling werewolves. As they themselves admit, this makes it rather hard to relate to men as other than sexual toys that might kidnap you and do kinky stuff in their basement.
Sometimes I really hate being a reader because my entire understanding and concept of reality is ruined by books. Like, I don't understand how I'm expected to function in the real world, in the adult world, in college, okay? Because I'm walking around campus going to my classes and I am mean to every single guy I meet because I'm like, maybe you are the one that I will have an academic enemies to lovers rivalry romance with, and then it doesn't happen and they just hate me. Or I'm walking around like, you're super cute, but like, are you a vampire? Are you a hot high fae? Are you secretly a guardian angel sent to kill me only to fall in love with me? Like, what's the deal? Like, I can't socialize. I can't life or college or adult because I'm constantly thinking about books, and I am just so tired. Okay, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm gonna go read and cry. Bye.
I was just sitting here reading this book, and then I realized every fictional man I've ever loved is written by a woman. I'm never gonna get a boyfriend in real life. No offense to some men, I'm sure you're great. You're just not Castile, and you never can be. It's fine. I'm fine.
So there you have it. Just because some teenagers would rather read than watch movies, it doesn't mean they aren't exposed to very dangerous and graphic ideas. Not only that, it's very easy for them to fall into the trap of pornography. Everyone's doing it, and you don't really know it's coming until you read the book yourself. Many books that are very graphic are also very popular, and therefore young readers will be more inclined to pick those books up. Now remember, young teens don't really have a very refined filter yet, so books that immediately would stand out to me as suspicious seem fine to them. So whereas I would see a cover or read a synopsis or read the first chapter and say, no, they will read it and not see anything wrong with it until they get to the actually bad parts. And since everyone's reading the books and doesn't seem to make a big deal out of it, girls and boys keep reading as well. Then they find others who, like them, have to hide this kind of stuff from their parents, and a kind of camaraderie is formed. It is now cool and fun to read smut in public places without getting caught. The game is on, and the young reader is on the path to severe disappointment later on.